Hey, so I've got something a little bit different for us today to get stuck into. We're going to do a reaction to somebody called Glam Life Gabi. If you're familiar with her, she made a video yesterday, and funnily enough, it was about manipulation, my favourite ever subject, and no surprise there. And she talks about feeling some kind of burnout within her job as an influencer, a beauty influencer, and she's talking about that her mental health, she's struggling with her mental health, and the things that she encompasses in this video. She puts a lot out there, and this is why I really wanted to jump onto it, because there is no more perfect of a time. She talks about the manipulation that goes on within the beauty influencer community that other influencers participate in, and the reasons why they do these types of things, and the vicious cycle that it creates once you dip your toe in. Okay, so within her video, because she's there, it's like she's right in the mix of it all. She gets to see more than I can ever see from where I see it from, right? So I thought, why not do a reaction? I thought about possibly emailing her and see if she'd let me ask her some questions, but she's like a massive influencer, so there's not much chance I'm even going to get a reply. So failing that, doing a reaction and diving deep into these things that I am so excited to talk about, from the manipulation of legacy brands to the manipulation of just the beauty communities themselves or the beauty industry itself, from the tactics they use, sales tactics, the marketing tactics, the ploys, all different things that they use in order to get you, me, all of us to part with our money and ultimately keep pumping money into this industry that is all about being beautiful, but is it beautiful itself? Okay, so let's get into it. Before I get into this, I just want to let you know to go over and subscribe, and please do watch the whole video. It was so insightful and just gives a really good background consensus to what truly goes on surrounding the beauty communities on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, etc. So she's going to briefly define all the things that are necessary, really, to keep your video up there at the top, the most searched, the most watched, and ultimately making your channel grow in a vast way.
And it's because they don't know that this is how it works. The more shocking, usually the more negative, the louder, the more obnoxious, the more people click. And I feel like I could get in a lot of trouble for this, but you know what? Forget it. I just want to talk about this for once. It is actually how influencers or content creators make money and why it can take you down a dark.
And there's a reason why. Do you know, like how she says, I could get in a real lot of trouble for saying this, but I don't care. I'm just going to say it. They don't say it. Most of them are quite happy to go along with this. And this is what I want to lift the lid off and uncover, if you will, because so many people are being consistently and constantly manipulated to buy these beauty items over and over and over again, simply because the person they're having some sort of parasocial relationship with, somebody that they idolize or look up to or aspire to be like, perhaps, is pushing product, pushing. Like, we all moved off general TV and went on to like Sky or cable, because we all got tired of the constant advertisements and adverts every 10 minutes. I mean, you couldn't even watch anything for more than 10 minutes, and that was the cut-off point, and it was followed by 5 minutes of solid adverts. So then we all moved to the internet to watch stuff on there, because we got tired of then Sky and cable starting that crap. And then now it's just exactly the same, if not worse. TikTok at some point, I do predict, will implode, because this constantly selling and pushing and encouraging you to shop, especially with the economy right now, who the hell can keep up with that? And the problem with a lot of these businesses, these beauty brands, is they're pushing and launching products, several products a week, some of them, like Revolution or Elf, for example, right? Whereas back in the day, they would do launches seasonally and occasional mid-season launches. or like a summer item, or possibly something for Valentine's Day, or maybe a Christmas collection, right? And then you'd have your spring, summer, autumn, winter within that. But now, especially Revolution and brands similar to that, these high street brands, sorry, they are just like, I know the industry is competitive, but here's the thing: if you're constantly remaking and reformulating and coming up with new ideas or duping other products, which seems to be just huge now, um, you're not promoting brand loyalty in any sense of the word either. And to me, it just seems like it would make more sense if some of these brands, like, I love sustainable beauty, so like compacts and things like that, vintage ones, I will repurpose them, right? I engrave mirrors, personalize it if somebody wants it like that, and then I either create like a solid fragrance from beeswax and oud, and or create a cheek and lip tint, right? And fill them with that. And then the person will buy the vintage compact, maybe have it engraved, and then it's filled with either a fragrance or a lip and cheek tint. And I just don't understand why these brands don't push down that side of the market. I just think they'd fare better long term, because this, like I said earlier, this consistently pushing new products at some point is going to implode. The economy right now cannot take it. These businesses cannot survive, and because it's a capitalist society, they can't survive unless people are buying products. But if nobody can afford to buy products and you're still constantly pushing out products, well, the first people to go are going to be the people that work for the company, right? Because it's always the people that suffer. And then they're just going to shut down stores, which we're seeing happen over in the UK. I don't know about the US or any other parts of the world. They're shutting stores down, and then they'll just do they'll have a place where they create this stuff like a factory. And then most of the selling, they'll do it online, right? So they don't even need to have stores anymore. But the problem is, it's just not economically safe. But if you created a product or a compact idea of some sort, or even lipsticks, I know Lisa Eldridge has started doing these like keepsakes with some of her lipsticks, but it's only some of them, and you can get them engraved, and then you can actually refill the lipstick because it's made out of decent material, like not some like crappy plastic. And then you can refill the lipstick. And this is what I'm saying about the other brands. I don't understand why they don't, when they're launching their blushes, even if they're liquid blushes, why they don't put a little bit more money into the creation of the exterior of the product. Make it beautiful, like something you'd want to keep. Because if you look at Dior packaging, or D&G, or Lancome or YSL, for example, they make beautiful packaging, but you throw it in the bin as soon as you finish with it, because it's literally just plastic and it's empty and it just goes gross, or it cracks and breaks. But if you look at compacts from back in the day, vintage compacts, I mean, some of them I've got from the 1920s, and the metal isn't gold or silver, and it's still in almost pristine, perfect condition. So you refill, or you buy the refill. The person gets to keep something. You keep it in your family. You can pass it down to any other females in your home. It can become like an heirloom. And you're promoting brand loyalty, because the person's going to come back to keep refilling the item when they use out of it. And long term, it just seems like a smarter idea, because somebody is always going to replace their powder at some point. They're always going to replace their blush, or maybe their solid fragrance, for example, right? If you offer different scents. But this constant pushing of new types of blush, or new blush in different packaging, or new bronzer in different packaging, or new bronzer in a different format. This one's in a glass jar. This is putty. This is a powder. This one's a cream. People can't keep up. So it's just dumb. So anyway, she's going to go on to say and talk a little bit about why and how the influencers do as they do to make the money that they do.
Arc road. Content creation is a multi-revenue stream of income. Okay. And the way that you make money is there are several ways, but the first way is through brand partnerships. So a company will notice that your target audience is the audience that they want, or it's also their target customer. So they reach out to you and they pay you to talk about their products. It can be a win-win because if you like the product, you're introducing them to your audience. You can also get discount codes for your audience. So the audience loves it. It's fun for you to be excited and share with your audience something that you discovered. And then of course it's great for the brand because the brand gets discovered by their target customer that they want. Now, another revenue stream is affiliate marketing. What that means is every time you buy a product that an influencer links, that influencer makes a percentage off of that sale. That percentage can be like 5%, all the way ranging up to, in some cases I've seen with some brands, like 30 or even 35%. So
I want to touch on the affiliate marketing here as well, right? Because this is something that truly galls me to no end. You will see OG beauty influencers, whether they be on Instagram or TikTok now, because a lot of them have migrated from YouTube. So we're talking about the Jaclyn Hills, the James Charles, that crew, the Manny MUAs and stuff like that. Laura Lee as well. Not so much Nikki Tutorials, and not so much like, I don't really see Raw Beauty Christy do it, but even Tati does it, right? Tati Westbrook. They will have these affiliate codes linked in their description, right? Well, first off, if they're linking those, it needs to say ad, #ad, within the first, I think it's the first 5 minutes of their video, right? And they need to disclose that any of those links that you click on, they will earn kickback, right? But they also need to tell you that in the video in the first 5 minutes, because typically, because some of them, they'll put it in halfway through, right? Or they'll just put it on the screen, or they won't even say it at all. And it needs to be so you don't actually have to go looking for this information that they may earn something. Because like now, where she's got this picture up, right? And she's got this Huda Beauty color corrector, okay? And she's going to let you know that she's probably not earning a commission off that, right? But if she was, she needs to disclose that, because what happens is if you click on that link that's in her description, and they usually hide them right at the bottom when they have to be at the top so you don't have to go hunting, and they might tell you that it's how do they word it, some of them, like it's a brand partnership, right? So they are using the link, but they're not telling you fully that they have been told that if they move this product, right, and they get a lot of their subscribers to buy it, their percentage of earnings goes up. So say if I was going to do Amazon links, affiliate links, right, I may earn 2 possibly to 5%, but a lot of these bigger channels are earning 5%, right? So if you're shifting 1,000 items, even if they're only selling for £15, right, but you're getting 1,000 of your subscribers to go off and buy that, you're earning a lot of money. So that's why you'll often see loads of different links, affiliate links, down in the descriptions. And also what happens with Amazon is if you click onto Amazon to check that item out and then you click off and you don't buy it, say over the next 2 days you go back onto Amazon to buy dog food or water or a hairdryer or something totally random that has nothing to do with the previous affiliate link, they earn off you using a place like Amazon over the next 48 hours after you originally clicked off on their link, and even if you didn't buy anything, right? Now, if you go over to Jaclyn Hill's Instagram, no word of a lie, she's earning, right, and I'll put in my opinion, but she's earning hundreds and thousands of dollars quarterly just by doing these affiliate links, okay? So she will do videos like, these are my monthly favorites, or because Amazon writes to you a week or two before they're having Prime Day, for example, or what do they call the other one? There's another one, right? So they will send these influencers a list of these items that are, I don't know how they word it. They kind of like word it like, below is a list of some of the either like our best sellers or whatever, right? So they might have, for example, fans, you know, little handheld battery operated fans, right? And they will have, I don't know, deodorants or bottles of water. So they'll have a specific list. Now, if you include those things in your description as your affiliate links, right, you earn a bigger percentage because these are items that Amazon is wanting to push, okay? And these influencers don't disclose that that's what they're doing. They're lying, a lot of them, and saying, oh, I always use this, or I swear by these face wipes, makeup wipes, they're amazing, or I swear by this new coffee I'm drinking that just happens to cost 45 quid, or this Stanley cup. I love Stanley cups. I have a link, go and use my link. So they're taking advantage of any respect or admiration you may have of them, simply to push products using these affiliate links, right? If it was someone like Glam Girl Gabi and she has a link in her description, because of the way she discloses and just the way she's in her nature, just honest and straightforward, and doesn't play all these games, these manipulation games, I wouldn't have a problem using her link. But when it comes to these other ones, these other influencers, even if they were showing me something that I'd be interested in, I'm just like, no, I'm not using your link. I'll just go and search it myself. I'm not going. And that is why now so many of them have an Amazon storefront. They're not doing it for the goodness of the heart. They're doing it because they're earning a profit. And some of them are earning that much money. They don't need to put videos out on YouTube anymore. If you've noticed, like so many of them, they don't even make content. And the only time people like Jacqueline Hill or a few of those over on TikTok now they've migrated over there, they don't even make content anymore, makeup content. They're literally every video telling you all about these new products, these new face wipes, this new deodorant. And it's because of how much they can earn off these affiliate links. It's insane.
If you're wondering how that works, there are actually several affiliate websites that you can apply to be a part of when you become a sizable influencer. From that website, all of the major retailers are on there. So Sephora, Ulta, Charlotte Tilbury, Huda Beauty, all of them. And then you look for the products that you're recommending in the video. You create a link from that portal and you know all of them. And then you look for the products that you're recommending in the video. You create a link from that portal and you know the percentage you're making off of the sale of that product based on the link you create in the portal. I hope that makes sense. It's a little bit confusing. The next revenue stream is AdSense revenue. There are ads that are played before our videos, right? And we get a portion of the revenue from those ads. So basically what that means is that the more views you are able to acquire for YouTube, the more that YouTube pays you. The reason this matters is because I think a lot of people don't understand that YouTube is a business. So what YouTube wants is it wants people like us, who are creators, to get people onto YouTube, and it wants us to keep people on the platform, because the longer we can keep people on the platform, the more ads they can feed those people. The more they give those people ads, the more ad revenue they get, because advertisers want to be in front of audiences. And then the more money.
And the reason they want to feed people ads is, without me sounding like some crazy conspiracy theorist, the same reason they wanted TVs in every home across the globe, because you listen to the person behind the screen. If they seem nice, respectable, decent, you tend to automatically trust what they're telling you, okay? And with this wave of this influencer era that we're in the midst of right now, we've transferred how we used to feel, like back in the bloody 70s and 80s and 90s possibly, how we would feel listening to the news back then. Like we would automatically trust what they would say, that we would want to hear what they had to tell us. And all that kind of thing. There's been like a transference of that phased out, and now we're doing the exact same thing to these. A new generation is doing the same thing to these influencers because they're likable and personable, and they go so far as to share their real lives with us. We have this feeling as though we know them, they're nice, they're just living their lives like me, I want to support them. How can I do that? Yeah, I'll use their links. Yeah, I'll buy their merch. Yeah, I'll buy the collaborations, whatever. But you're being manipulated to simply into buying stuff that you don't ever need. You don't need it. You truly just don't even need it. If you look around at all the items in your house, for example, right? All of that was once money. And the way that they push this makeup, that is kind of the message I want to ram home, especially to these people. Because there's a couple of girls I follow that are like small channels, and they are buying anywhere between £200 to £500 worth of makeup a month. And while that's not my business, they can spend their money how they want. Yeah, I totally agree. That's not what my issue is. I just feel like they're being pushed into doing this or manipulated into doing it, and they're unaware of it. They're in like this cycle of watching these influencers, and they're spending all this money, like hundreds and thousands of pounds, for these items that literally sit in a makeup bag. And yeah, I love makeup just as much as the next person, but I don't love it to the point where I want a whole room full of it or all my drawers covered in it and I can't move because of it. It is insane, and I can't stand it. I can't stand watching it. I think there needs to be some pushback to this constant pushing of purchase, purchase, purchase. I think somebody has to be doing some kind of pushback. I have watched a few of these de-influencers, their topics and things like that. I know there's a whole thing now, a whole movement, under consumption. And while I am about, well, I'm not as extreme as those under consumptionists, whatever you want to call them, where they're literally just where it just gets to be gross what they're doing, and you're just like, just buy another one. Just buy another one. It's dead, it's gone, it looks dirty, it's scummy, whatever it is, right? So, but there is a balance, and I can't project what I think people should do with their money, but so that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to tell people what to do with their money. I just want people to possibly be more aware of what they are doing with their money and why. They're trusting people they shouldn't be trusting.
YouTube makes. The more money YouTube makes, the more they reward you, and the more money you as a creator makes. Michelle, without complicating anything, this is how it works. The more clicks you get, the more views you get. The more views you get, the more money you make. The more clicks, the more views, the more money. It's very, very simple. Now, how do you get clicks? The way that you get clicks is through your title.
As I was saying just earlier when I said that we all migrated from the TV, that's all YouTube cares about. Advert pushing. Why? Because they know that if you watch this stuff long enough, if you see it regularly enough, you will break. It does something to the human psyche. These people behind this are pretty dark. They genuinely, you can research this stuff, consult with psychology experts, right, to understand how the brain works and how best to sell and market things to human beings. They study this stuff. They're not stupid. They're not just doing this thing on a whim. They're not just doing it because it's just like some rad idea they had and they just came up with it. And YouTube is following suit in pumping out ads. Why? Because if you keep seeing the same thing over and over and over again, you will pretty much more often than not buy it. I can't even tell you how many times I've seen that advert lately. I don't even know the brand, but I know the song because it used to be a song back in the 90s, that Starry-Eyed Surprise. And it's selling these little stars that you can put over spots on your face or something, right? And every single ad break I get while I'm watching YouTube, that advert comes on. That advert comes on. It has come on my screen, I think now, for the last 2 to 3 weeks. I see it several times a day, every day, to the point I'm like, do I need some of them? Should I get some of them stars? Like, I think I want some of them stars. Like, they have the catchy song, the cute advert, and they constantly push it. And over time, it wears on your brain, it wears on your mind, and you end up giving in and doing pretty much what the advert's telling you to do, making the purchase.
and your thumbnail. And then of course the content matching the title and the thumbnail. So what that means is that your title and your thumbnail need to be attention grabbing. Because if they're not attention grabbing, no one will click. If no one clicks, no one's going to watch. If no one watches, you're not going to make any money. And YouTube is an enormously competitive platform. But not only is it competitive, it's also labor intensive. So it takes an enormous amount of time to create these long form videos. You have to conceptualize them. You have to often research or script. You have to get your products ready, film. Then you've got to edit the whole thing. Then you have to come up with a thumbnail, a title. You have to write the description. You have to optimize it for search so that if someone is searching for something, your video pops up because YouTube is owned by Google. You have to link products. You need to do chapters. All of it. It's a lot of work. And I'm not complaining about the work. I absolutely love being a creator. I count my lucky stars every day that this is the life that I get to have and the life that I get to live. But there is such a dark side to it that people don't see. And it's because they don't know that this is how it works, right? You really think, I think, before you're a YouTuber that you go on and you make these fun videos and it's so like great and you have this freedom in your life and you make all this money, but it's just not like that because you need people to click. Okay. So what does that do? It leads you down this path of sensationalized content. The more shocking, usually the more negative, the louder, the more obnoxious, the more people click. You need to sensationalize it. And year by year, as things have become more sensationalized, people are becoming habituated to the sensationalization. So you need to go further. So for example, before seeing someone on a bikini,
I'm just going to cut in here, right? So if you're watching, if you're familiar with TikTok, if you're a regular user of TikTok, these short form content videos are especially guilty of this. The jump cuts, the edits, right? It's all bam, bam, bam. Oh, and you need to use this, and this is why, and you put it on like this, and this is why. And regular people don't talk like that, right? If you put me next to one of these YouTubers, me talking to you about something and having a conversation with you, you're going to be asleep within 5 seconds. You need to be attention grabbing. You need to pull people in, grab their attention straight away. That is what this cycle encourages. So from the off, right, it's already a very narcissistic and superficial concept, right? To be able to do these, I'm not saying, you know, down to earth, regular, calm people don't have big channels, but overall, this is what we see. This attention grabbing, in your face, over the top, these personalities. And they do it for a reason, because it works. It pulls you in. It keeps you coming back. It keeps you watching. Now, a lot of these more narcissistic type of people or personality types, they don't struggle with this as much as why I believe Gabi is, what she goes on to say, struggling with this, because being superficial and having that fake charm and wanting to dupe people and having that craving and need of attention from other people, they don't struggle with this at all. You can see them banging video out after video after video after video, sometimes several videos a day. They don't get tired, they don't get bored, because they're living off the fuel that those videos generate. That's literally what's keeping them going. Whereas regular people trying to sustain that and keep coming up with ideas and conceptualizing them, as she said, writing the scripts and putting in all the hard work, for them it really is work, because they have to adopt, you know, like an alter ego perhaps, or dip into a different part of their character to be able to pull that out, to present and project it forward for the viewer. But what we're really being sucked into is just superficial crap. It is no different to reality TV. Like at first, when reality TV became a thing, everyone was into it, because why? We all thought it was reality. And then it doesn't take you long to realize that this kind of drama is just not randomly happening this often, all the time, like this. And then as time went on, we learned that they were actually given scripts and topics and touchy subjects that they were told they had to discuss, and they were actually encouraged to drink alcohol on set while they were filming, and people were put in a room that really didn't like each other, and that the drama was encouraged. Because why? Because if there's drama in a kickoff, it catches the viewer's attention. People will come and watch. But it's just a disgusting cycle. And once you're in that cycle, how can you ever pull yourself out? You're just going to have to keep going. It's vicious, because if you tried to stop, for example, and just go to being calm, people are going to be like, wait, what? So that wasn't really you? That's not... Because people truly believe these characters like Michaela Noguera or James Charles and even Jeffree Star, these people And even Shane Dawson from back in the day, these people don't act this way in real life. It is just one giant whole persona they generate that they present on screen to appeal to the viewer. They're very clever in knowing what the viewer wants or what the viewers need or what's going to draw in the most viewers. But it is so deceptive, and we as the viewer are going to be the only ones that can make this crap stop. It has to be us that say enough is enough. It's like when I used to cover manipulation in the micro drama community, right? And we would blame the person that was hosting the live streams for all this drama, right? But it isn't them. If you're going to go over there and watch it, and you're as viewers in your numbers and in your hundreds, then you can't really keep blaming the person that's creating or the cause of all this drama, because we're the ones watching it. We have some responsibility and accountability too. And it's the same for these over the top, dramatic, fake influencers that are lying, manipulating. It's up to us to stop watching them and migrate to either these smaller channels, to more authentic and honest people that actually deserve a view and deserve to grow, rather than these people that you're literally paying to lie to you, and then you're buying the stuff they're pushing and rewarding them even more because they earn off that, for lying to you, for being manipulative, for deceiving you, for selling you stuff you don't even need, for encouraging you to buy stuff, for lying about it. It's like Manny MUA when he went to Coachella, and he had said in the morning, and he's Get Ready With Me, he'd said, oh yeah, I'm wearing the Urban Decay concealer. And then when he gets to Coachella, he does this random video with Hourglass, and he says, yeah, I'm wearing the Hourglass concealer. He does this like mini video with this Hourglass rep. And then he got called out for it, and everyone went nuts. And he said, oh, well, the thing is, and they said, well, you know, you did a Get Ready With Me this morning before you got to Coachella, and you told us you was wearing Urban Decay concealer. And then while you're here, now you're telling, now you stood with an Hourglass rep, and you're telling us it was an Hourglass concealer. So which was it? So he just dug his heels in and went further with the lie, in my humble opinion, and said, oh, well, I'm actually wearing 3 concealers. So I do have the Urban Decay one on, but I'm also wearing the Hourglass one to brighten. All right, so you sat there and did a Get Ready With Me and told your audience that these are the effects they're going to get if they use the Urban Decay concealer. So they're watching you, following along, possibly going out to buy this product because they can see that it's really covering your under eye circles, it's not sitting in the fine lines, etc., etc. And then it turns out that you're actually wearing 3 of them. How is that okay? In any realm, how is that okay? It isn't. It's disgusting.
I don't know, on the internet was like shocking, and people would watch it and share it. Did you see this? This is crazy, blah, blah, blah. Then when everyone did it, it's not shocking anymore, so you're used to it. So then it's like you're one-upping it, and you're making it crazier and bigger and louder and more money and more insane, and the concepts get crazier, and it just becomes more and more and more and more. And if you don't keep up with the Joneses and you don't do that, your content compared to other people's content seems really boring, so you don't get the clicks, you don't get the views, and you don't make money. And if you don't make money, you can't be a creator, because this is our job, because it is so labor intensive. Like I said, it's more than a full-time job. I probably work on my channel 50 hours easily a week, if not more. So if I stop earning income from it, then really I can't work on the channel and have to get another job, right? Because I couldn't do it as a side thing. It's just way too much work to do as a side thing if you actually want to be one of like the leading influencers in your space on YouTube. Hope that makes sense. So now that I've been doing this for a while, it's like the curtains have lifted for me. Whenever I see a news article, whenever I see a reel from a brand, whenever I see a new launch of something, and it's so shocking, like they're doing something that's shocking, I get why, because that's almost the only thing in this era of overconsumption of content that will make people stop. And everyone is like desperate for the attention.
Like Gabi is so nice though, right? Yeah, I'm glad she now sees it, but she has been on YouTube for quite a while, and I am shocked that people don't see it, which is what ended up kicking my ass into starting these types of videos exposing manipulation in the beauty community and the beauty industry. It just stuns me that, I don't know why, like I just find it so easy to see, whether it's walking into a store and product placement and how they situate the store and why they put the items where they do. Like they'll often put the freezer stuff on the outside, all the crap in the middle, how they position stuff close to the till when you're going to pay, like where they put the toys and where they put the clothes, and they'll try and encourage, like how IKEA is, it encourages you to walk, there's only one way around and you have to walk all the way around. So that means you see all their items that they're selling, which means you're likely going to pick up stuff that you didn't really go in there for. The same with the store. When you're seeing buy one get one free, or buy two and get one free, look, you didn't need any of them, so there is no bargain. If you ended up giving in and buying it, you were just successfully manipulated. I find it so much easier, side note now, doing my shopping via Uber Eats, because I have a list of what we need, of what we've run out of, and I save so much money not going in the store. Because what happens when you go into the store, you see stuff, oh, do you know, I could do one of them, oh, I've not had one of them for ages, I want to get a pack of them, oh, and on and on it goes. Just constantly. Like, wherever you are on earth, the job of the rest of your country, county, wherever you are, is to get you to part with your money. But the craziest thing is your money is better off in the bank. Your money is better off being spent on experiences, not on things. Like, if you go back to when our grandparents were little, they had like no more than 3 to 4 outfits in their wardrobe. Their Sunday best. And that was that, right? They didn't necessarily have fridges and freezers. They didn't have loads of wardrobe space. They didn't have loads of cupboard space to put shit tons of things that, again, you don't need. And there's something to be said for that. I would like to get back to more of that way of living, more minimalist, where my money is for experiences or it's being saved in the bank. Because this, I am so over it. I'm just over it. And I just have a feeling other people are over it too, constantly being manipulated into parting with their money in order to keep billionaires afloat. And that's truly what it is. Like, I will buy second-hand makeup where, like, obviously not lipsticks and things like that, but where possible, I will buy second-hand makeup. I will use indie brands to encourage small businesses. The same if I was to get food, like I don't eat out or get takeout and stuff like that. But if I was to, I just do not use these corporations. They are rich enough. They've had their time. They do not need even more money. So I would try my best in small ways to shop more ethically and to care more and to see what the brands' morals are. Like, a lot of these brands and who they do support, like there was all that with James Charles allegedly with the underage text messages and talking to minors and things like that. There's been horrendous stuff that Jeffree Star said. There's been all the crap that Jaclyn Hill's been involved in. Like, Michaela is a consistent and compulsive liar about absolutely anything, right? If you can lie about mascara, you're lying about everything. I just refuse to help these people get richer than they already are. They're already richer than God. They don't need any more money. And they monopolize people. They just see people literally as dollar bills, pound notes. That's all people like us are to them. And it's sick. I'm tired of it. It's sick. It needs to change.
Desperate for the scroll to stop or for someone to click the thumbnail. And the reason that they're so desperate for that is because that's what makes them money. And without the money, they can't continue doing it. Do you know what I'm saying? It's such a slippery slope. So what does that do? It makes people create content that's really sensationalized, that's really negative, that's really gossipy. There are some creators on YouTube, I'm not going to name any names, whose entire channel is literally just destroying other creators. So it's just basically like the gossip channels that just talk garbage about all of these other creators and how they're horrible people and how they need to be held accountable. That's what they say a lot, right? And I'm not saying that the creators that are talked about on these gossip channels aren't horrible people and don't need to be held accountable. But the reason they're making these videos about how awful these creators are and all of this gossipy stuff is because those videos, because they are negative, sensationalized, and have dramatic thumbnails, will get the click, and that creator will get a lot of money. So those creators that are leaning into gossip content, they are leaning into the negativity on the platform to gain the click. But the creators are often talking about have also usually leaned into the negativity in order to gain the click. So they are doing really shady stuff because they're trying to get attention, because they're trying to stop someone from scrolling, and they know that if they stop that scroll, they will make more money. So at one point, you know what it's like? It's like putting a lobster in a pot of boiling water. You put it in, the water is cold. You know, you're a new content creator, you're making videos, you're having so much fun, you're making tutorials, it's amazing. And then you start noticing, hey, if I make tutorials that have this angle, or if I do things that are a little more polarizing, or if I'm a little more intense, then more people click. Look at this. This video went viral. Validation, validation, dopamine in your brain, right? So then the next time you make a video, you're like, well, maybe I can angle it like this because then it seems more extreme. And if it's more extreme, then I'll get more views because that's what happened the last time I did. So dopamine, you do it, you see it, it's like validating. And then you're like, no, I'm gonna make a really nice, good, feel-good video that teaches women how to feel like their best selves. I'm gonna do like a feel-good tutorial and it's gonna be so helpful. And you launch it and crickets. So what does that train your brain? I need to be extreme. So you become more and more extreme. So the water in that pan starts getting hotter, but you don't feel it because it's slow. Next thing you know, you're in a pot of freaking boiling water. You are dying. You've sold your soul. You are just a horrible person. And it doesn't feel bad because it happens slowly. And every time you crept up and were horrible or controversial, you got a reward. And the reward was money, fame, engagement, all of the things. So,
and this, it's not dissimilar to the dopamine that you are hit with when you make a purchase. The views climbing, the people talking about you, your name being in lights pretty much, because even negative attention is good attention. It has, if you're being talked about, either way, it encourages people to go over and check you out. Obviously, you do want it to be majorly more positive, but she's totally on point when she says this, but it has to be down to us, either the consumers or as watchers, to change this tide, change the direction of it. Like, start watching smaller influencers if you're in the beauty community. Stop watching and assisting these absolute they have no morals, no ethics. They're just all about more. Money. That's all they care about. Why do you care about helping people like that have more money? Because without us, the Jacqueline Hills, the James Charles, the Jeffree Stars, they wouldn't have this vast wealth. We have made some of the worst characters millionaires, and we're still doing it. Michaela Nogueira is one of many. She's the most recent I can think of, but there'll be more that I just haven't come across on TikTok that are rising up through the ranks, trying to get good at manipulating their audience, being noticed by brands to sell people that don't know any better crap they don't need. And some of these brands should be held accountable, whether it's Tarte or for these disgustingly over-the-top brand trips. And I don't begrudge anyone going on a holiday or a trip, but the wealth and the, like, can you imagine OG actors and actresses bragging about their cars or their patting their, foreheads with $100 bills? Looking at Jacqueline Hill there, right? And some of the vast, disgusting arrays of wealth, especially with what's going on right now. And these lot are uploading their collection of 400 Birkin bags, right? It's disgusting. It's disgusting. I genuinely think we all need to think about what we're doing, because when we used to just say it's just the internet, I don't think at all it's just the internet. It has consequences. Who you're watching, you're making rich. And who you're making rich, right? They're getting that way off the back of us, just normal people. It's not like it's an honest living, right? That they're getting these types of benefits where they never have to work another day in their life. That it's not an honest work ethic, right? It's not. It isn't. They're duping and manipulating and tricking people. They're deceptive, and they don't actually even care about their audience. They don't care about putting out content. They care about pushing consumerism. That's it. That's all.
I can see why some influencers, especially the young ones, like the very young ones, why they got into this rabbit hole of creating content that's really, in my opinion, actually quite distasteful. It's very controversial, very clickbaity, very extreme, very all of the things. They did that because they were rewarded every time they did that. So they became trained over the years that the only way to stay relevant on the platform is to become more and more sensationalized, more and more radical. So then we have all these gossip channels making videos about how these people suck. But what they're doing is the exact same thing that those people are doing. They're making these radicalized videos that are very polarizing and extreme, angling everything in negativity, but kind of presenting themselves as holier than thou in order to get views and clicks. Do you know what I'm saying? So everyone on this platform is doing the exact same thing, but some people are better at hiding what they're doing more than other people. But at the end of the day, you're just trying to get the click and you're doing whatever it takes to get the click. So I hope that makes sense. Oh my gosh, I am spilling. What starts to happen in this storm when you are in it long enough is you start getting what I like to call ethical burnout. And that's where I'm at right now. I was riding so hard for so long. I was making it happen and I was loving every minute of it. You know, truly, I really enjoy this platform so much. And then I just hit this wall where I started seeing it for what it was. And I started thinking like, is this what I am putting all of my time, effort, love, care into? I'm a part of this ecosystem that is, it's a little rough around the edges, if I'm being honest. You know what I mean? It's a little aggressive, very aggressive, and it can feel really wrong. It's like setting limits on what you're willing to do and what you are not willing to do. How far are you willing to take it to get to 1 million subscribers? How far are you willing to go to make the money or to become a really reputable voice in the...
And people are willing to go all the way. What's a few lies? What's a few exaggerations? What's a few over-the-top statements made about certain products? What's a bit of deception? What does it matter? As long as it gets me to the top. I'm trying to look after my family. I'm trying to support myself. I'm trying to get ahead in this world, as tough as it is. They're the justifications for it. But the questions we have to ask ourselves is, how do we feel about that? Or who are the people that we're making rich? What about them? Do they deserve that position more than some of these other channels that are struggling, that are putting out honest and authentic facts and truths about products in particular? They're not considered popular, but they're authentic. So do we care more about somebody who's popular, or do we care more about authenticity? I do think at some point this whole TikTok cycle is just going to implode. The consumer side of it, this constant shop, 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 and both the short form content idea, because you can't even get into listening to something when it's only going for 60 or 120 seconds. You can't get into anything. You're not learning anything of any magnitude in those kinds of time spans. Like we're going to find, like in years to come, the issues that it's going to cause with like the short circuits in the brain and the wiring of the brain, consistently feeding it this kind of rubbish, this constant scrolling and clicking to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. And those the dopamine rushes, the constant bombardment of in the brain of these dopamine rushes, there are going to be detrimental side effects to all of this, to all of it. I am in no doubt.
Beauty community, how far are you willing to go? And I'm just not willing to go that far. I'm just not willing to go. Emotionally, it's actually quite a difficult thing because it plays with your brain a lot. Because when your channel's doing well 1 month, it is the most rewarding, exciting thing ever. That dopamine hit, I'm telling you, it's so intense when you're in the world of content creation. But then when your channel slows down, it is so depressing. So then you like want that dopamine hit again, right? So you're like,
see, that's not a thing I can relate to. But I can imagine, yeah, when you keep seeing your channel like rising high and getting higher and bigger and bigger and bigger, and you're getting more and more attention and more exposure, I can imagine like it would be a pretty monumental feeling to experience. But at the same time, that doesn't excuse people lying to their audience and being disingenuous and fobbing us off with items that, like, I have literally seen Michaela talk about an item, just using her as an example here, but there are many. She has used an item and declared how much she doesn't like it, how much it is no good, she won't use it again, right? And then 6 months later, she'll score a brand deal. The brand will contact her and say, hi, you know, because they've seen how well she does and how many products she can push just within the span of 5 minutes. And they'll ask her to use the product. And she'll use the product to make a video. And they're not even reviews. They're more like first impressions, because to give a review, you need to have used it over a decent period of time, especially as long as the day is. Okay, so you can see how the product wears, etc., right? And she'll get the brand deal and she'll talk up this item, this concealer, this eyeshadow, whatever it is. And I'm like, what? Well, 6 months ago, you told us that this was a load of crap. You said it was a load of rubbish. Like, they are the most disingenuous group of people ever. Like, they are the stereotype car salesman, right? Snake oil salesman. That is what a lot of these beauty influencers are. That is what I assimilate them to. They are no different. They're trying to, sell you something that is not what it seems. And I am so glad. Like, this does get a bit deep, this video. I didn't include much of the parts where she talks about her mental health because she has been going through it and struggling. So I do strongly recommend or encourage you to go and watch the whole video, because it is just so insightful to what some of the more authentic and genuine influencers, you know, just trying to hold their rank where they are to live and be able to afford living according to the wage that they make off their channel. Like, I really encourage you to go over and watch it, because the things that she talks about and the way that she's feeling about it all, like, it has, I just think as viewers, these are the types of people that we should be supporting, we should be encouraging, we should be, you know, like, giving, when they're feeling like this, making our presence known. But more often than not, the majority of us won't do. And we will continue to watch the attention-grabbing deception that goes on.
What else can I do to make it more, you know, to get back to where I was and grow as fast as I was growing? Like, what else can I do? What else can I do? And then that's when you get like sucked into that slippery slope of like extreme videos. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot. And I'm older. I'm 39 and I see it happening. I also have a psychology degree, so I think I can understand human psyche pretty well, and I can actually see it happening from the lens of like a, you know, psychology and why it's happening and why the brain is doing what it's doing. It's just like an addiction, like anything else. Social media, it's an addiction. It really is. It's an addiction, like, you know, a cocaine addiction. Your brain wants that hit again. And it happens a lot in the creator space, because when you're doing well, it feels so good. But when you're not doing well, it's so depressing. Like you spiral. You start to think, am I tapping out? Are people not liking me anymore? Is this the end of it? Have I had my rise and fall? What's my plan B? What am I going to do if this doesn't work? And then you start to think, maybe if I make a video that's like this, it will be so extreme that it will get the click. And like, how can I sensationalize the title more? Like, what would be more extreme? What do people, you just get in your own head, and it just becomes like more and more and more and more evil. I hate to say that, but it can become very, very nasty, very, very fast without you realizing it, because you're just a lobster in a pot of boiling water. Honestly, trying to get this click at times can be so exhausting, because you constantly feel like you're not dramatic enough for the algorithm. And I wonder how long I'm going to be able to last on here before the more dramatic creators just kind of take over and I become irrelevant. You know, the people that put on the events, whether that's a brand or another platform, they want you to go and take a million videos and pictures and post them because it promotes the brand. Everything that is done in that world is to
and I think it's important to note here with what she's touching on, right, is that what she's about to go on to say is these brands, they have always been deceptive. They have always been manipulative. They have always been capitalist. They have always used things like the legacy brand name, their packaging, their reputations, their, what else? Well, how well known they are. They have always used specific aspects as ploys or tactics to basically market you things and sell you things, right? So when you look at it, view through the frame of back in the day when we would buy more magazines, right? Talking about the 90s, early 2000s, and prior to that, we would buy magazines and you would see a Dior perfume or a Lancome skincare product, and maybe you'd see it on a bus stop if you're in the UK, possibly a billboard, and then I don't even really remember too often seeing those kind of adverts on TV. You might see a random perfume one, but you weren't seeing them often, and you would only see these adverts pretty sparingly. Okay, so you could see the model in the picture, you could see the scene of where they'd gone to get the footage, and it's not lost on me that paying these influencers is exponentially less. So even if they're paying these influencers, which in some case, what, $60,000, $100,000 to promote their product or brand for a certain period of time or certain amount of videos, they don't have to pay for location. Excuse me. They don't have to pay for a photographer. They don't have to pay for someone to do hair and makeup, because usually the beauty influencer can do all that kind of stuff themselves. They're filming the content from their bedroom, so you don't need a location for that. You don't need a photographer because everybody's got a camera now, or they're recording it as a video. Flights, hotels, accommodation, while these shoots would take place for these brands and their products that they were promoting, the cost is so much less just paying an influencer to promote your brand, which is why they can give away these Hermes, what were they, bracelets, bags, scarves. It's why they can give expensive gifts to these influencers for, like, when Tarts, I think Tarts did it. I can't think of the name of the other one, but other brands have done it. You've seen these influencers opening expensive gifts, truly expensive gifts, and that's why they can afford to do it, because they're not paying models, photographers, clothes, hair, makeup. Their costs are down, so they do have money to throw at these influencers. And what they're using is, I once made a video, one of my first ever videos on this channel was called The Dark Art of Reciprocity, and I was trying to inform people all about what happens within the brain when somebody does something nice for you, or somebody gives you something, right? It's like if someone holds a door open for you, right? You automatically go to say thank you. It's not something you really have to think about doing. You just do it naturally. So it's the same tactic that the car salesman uses when you go to buy a car, for example, right? He will mark it down if you seem unsure. And it's never a price that he wasn't going to go to before you even got there, okay? But they give you the feeling that they're doing something for you, so that you will, in return, do something for them. Well, what's the something for them that they want? Well, they want you to buy the car. So if you think you're getting a discount and you're getting a special deal, and you're going to be able to walk off the forecourt with this car, with a couple of £100 knocked off, you feel like they're doing you a favour. And that's the dark art of reciprocity. Do something for someone and they will feel like they have to repay you, okay? And that's, for me, some of what I want to uncover on my channel, with these brands sending these exuberant gifts to these luxury gifts and items, products, to these influencers. These influencers think, oh, they love me. They wouldn't be sending me this if they didn't. Why are they sending me a Birkin handbag? Why are they sending me this bracelet? Look at me, look at me, look at me. I'm so popular. Everyone loves me, blah, blah, blah. And they are seriously naive. No, they're using the dark art of reciprocity, because they know it's in its other form, it's nothing more than love bombing. You shower someone with praise, or you shower someone with gifts, or a combination of both, and that person will want to repay you in some way. It just happens. It's like part of the human psyche, if you will. Somebody does something for you. Next time somebody does something for you, like, observe yourself in the third person, how you feel, right? Next time somebody opens a door for you as you go into the store or something, or somebody smiles at you, right? You automatically, without thinking, want to return return them in some way, with some favor, right? Or some act of kindness. And that's a lot of what these brands use with these influencers. They don't care about these influencers. If your views fall, or tomorrow you get exposed for something heinous, right? They just move on to the next one. There's always more waiting in the wings, ready to rise up and take your spot. You're not special.
Promote the brand, whether you believe it or not. Whether the influencer thinks, oh, that's so nice that they did this. They're giving us this lavish party with this lavish food and all this stuff and red carpet and blah, blah, blah. They just want you to promote the brand. They don't give an, excuse my language, F about you. They do not care about you whatsoever. They want you to promote the brand. Because if you promote the brand, then the brand makes money, and everything is about making money at the end of the day. And I feel like, in some ways I have an advantage because I'm older, I can see it. But I'm at these events and everyone's so young, so much younger than me. They don't see it. They're just so flattered and honored, and they feel so great. But I'm like, they don't care about you. If you stop getting views and you stop selling their product, you are replaced. They do not care about you at all. They don't. They just care about how having you at this event, or taking you on this brand trip, or giving you all this lavish stuff, how it's going to translate to their pockets at the end of the freaking day.
And they think they're working independently, some of these young influencers, the ones she's kind of like referencing there, but they're truly not. You're working for billionaires that are manipulating you into doing what you're about to do, or manipulating you for the things that you're about to say about their products. They're billionaires. These brands are just, the amount of money they have is just nothing most of us will ever just even witness 5% of in our whole entire lifetimes. They are truly, they have got so much, they've got more money than God, okay? They don't care about you. They care about flattering you, making you feel special, so that you will do something in return for them. And what is that? Making them loads of money. Oh, and in the process, we'll help you make money. So it's a win-win.
That is how it works. Oh my gosh, you guys have never seen this side of me, huh? I'm so flustered. I don't even know like how to do my makeup right now. Anyways, with that said, so I go to these events and I feel like such a fish out of water. For one, the only way to get candid reactions that people seem to love on Instagram is to film everything. Okay, that means you have to bring your tripod, bring your camera, set it up, get some lighting in there so everything's not dark, or hire a video person to come and follow you around and film all your interactions. And then you take all that footage, download it on your computer, and spend hours going through every moment of the day and picking out the interactions that make sense in the story that you're creating for this video, and then post it, right? It seems.
And this alone should be enough. This brief that she touches on here should be enough just on its own to wake people up to just how fake things are. We're watching them, right? It's like when Michaela did what I covered the other week when she was talking about her husband going into rehab, right? And the product placement that was going on while she was discussing this. So she was using, I mean, the best known tactics to man are to use emotion and tie that into a marketing strategy. It's how charities operate, right? Whether it's a children's hospice, right, or the RSPCA, something to do with animals. If you tie in emotion into your advertising, people are more likely to give money. That's why they show children possibly with cancer or illnesses, chronic illnesses, or terminal illnesses. It's why they display pictures of animals at the time of them being rescued. They're all disheveled and you can see their ribs and they look pretty horrific. Other charities, for things like helping children in other countries, in poorer parts of the world, they will show children suffering malnutrition and things like that, because what the mind is presented with affects what the heart feels. And brands are using, well, not necessarily brands, influencers, when some of them are sharing their story with you and you think they're just talking about their lives, they're not at all just talking about their lives. They're bringing you in because if you can take somebody along with the story, they're more likely to attach onto you, and the stronger the parasocial relationship is. So if they bring you into what you think is their deepest, most vulnerable moments, you're more likely to bond with them, right? Attach onto them. And when you view those influencers through an emotional lens, or through the lens of somebody that has a perceived bond with these people, you are easier to manipulate because you're not thinking critically and you're not using your logical brain. It's all so devious.
So authentic when you're watching it. And even I love watching Instagram Reels. I love it. When you are the one actually creating the videos, it is anything but authentic. Because as soon as you're filming something, you're taking yourself out of that moment completely to film it. It becomes performative. Everything in this industry is performative. So for example, I went to this women's event that was influencer led, and there's this red carpet and everyone's lining up to take videos of themselves walking on the red carpet and posing and pictures and pictures. And so people are like, here, line up here for the red carpet. And I'm like, but do you have to line up for the red carpet? They're like, no, it's for videos. I'm like, I don't want to line up for 20 minutes to have my assistant take videos of me. Like that, it's so, I'm not judging anyone for doing it. It's a part of the business. I get it. But I'm not judging anyone for doing it. It's a part of the business. I get it. But as someone who's just a makeup artist, I'm not like an actress or a model. It feels so weird to me. I feel so uncomfortable being like, hey, here, take my camera. Can you take a picture of me walking on this red carpet so I can make a reel of me walking in slow motion with my dress flapping and my hair blowing? It's just very, to me, it feels very egocentric and performative and unbelievably cringy. And I hate it so much. And I have such a hard time with it. And it's so many other things where I just feel like I can't film everything because it takes me out of the moment and it makes me so bloody uncomfortable. So even for example, I go to Savannah, Georgia for RMS Beauty, right? So Rosemary Swift is a makeup icon. If you don't know who she is, she has done the makeup for every Vogue cover. She has done the makeup for every major designer, for every major supermodel. She is an icon in the fashion industry. And in my opinion, she's one of...
Side note, she is my absolute icon. She is the person out of everyone I would love to do my makeup. I adore her. I have done for years. She's amazing. Epic.
Best makeup artist of our time. When RMS Beauty sent me over for that trip, I was so deeply honored to meet her and to learn from her and film the video for you guys. I knew it would be so beneficial for you guys to get that sneak peek through her lens and her immense experience as a working artist. Oh my gosh, it was like honestly a dream come true for me. And so as a creator going down there, the first thing you think is like, we should really film the first moments that I meet her. Like we should film me going up to her house, knocking on the door, having her come out in that first experience, because that would be fun to watch. But guys, this is what I mean when I say like, I don't belong in this world and I don't know how I got here. It kills my soul to do things like that because I feel like it's so inauthentic. Like imagine meeting someone who you deeply respect as an artist. Say you're an artist, right? Like me. And filming the first moment interaction like that. Cameras in their face, they're put on the spot. They are going to act in a performative way simply because of the fact that there's a camera in their face. They can't just be themselves or real or respond to you in the way that they naturally would because there's a camera in their face. That's what I don't get with reality TV. When I watch reality TV, I always think about that because the characters are always, getting drunk and being so dramatic. And I always wonder about that because being in this industry, there's a camera.
If I could give Gabi some advice, It would be too, because if you watch the whole video, you really get to feel how she's feeling, right? You really get to understand where she's coming from, because it goes a lot deeper than the bits I'm covering in this video. I would say to Gabi that when you go to a normal job, whether it's 9 to 5 or you work shifts, right? You put on an act when you go to work. If you've split up with your partner the night before, or the kids have given you a hard time, or you're struggling to pay your bills, or you're having health issues, you go to work, you put on your work face and you get on with it. Gabi doesn't participate in all this fake personality, fake like parasocial crap, right? She doesn't do any of that. She's genuinely authentic. But where she talks about struggling with this bit about filming, walking to the door, and how she's struggling with it, and she's like, she doesn't like how she says she's got ethical burnout. Some parts of this are her job, where she does need to, I think, see it as her job. So where she says like she was struggling to record walking to the door, I totally understand that. I also understand where you want to experience it in real life rather than doing it like play by play and then stopping and starting, record, blah, 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 checking makeup, angles, all the rest of it. But I think it would help her if she saw those types of aspects, that it is a part of a job and necessary for part of a job, right? Because if she wants to be a successful influencer, which she already is on YouTube or just online in general, I think it would help her mentally with what she goes on to discuss in this video, because now she's struggling where she feels like she's being fake for everything, or that's being fake, and she's struggling where the balance is, and where, well, some parts of your job you do have to just put your work face on. And I think for this particular example that she gives, walking to the door and recording meeting her and it having to be a bit unauthentic, because, you know, obviously Rosemary's going to know that she's coming to the door before she actually gets to the door. It's not going to be a legitimate first meeting. It's going to be staged, if you will. But those aspects are part of the job. Like if I go online and I see a load of girls, influencers, girls or guys, and they're doing how she described the red carpet event, where they were literally queuing up for 20 minutes so they can do the slow walk and do it all in slow motion, and the twirling the dress and flicking the hair, and then there's a close-up with the makeup. Those types of things don't bother me, right? That's part and parcel of it, right? It's the disingenuousness of the creators and the lying and the purposeful deception with the products, with what they're using, with them using filters and not disclosing it. So you're literally thinking they look like that or their skin's that good. Them talking about skincare products when they have Botox. How can you even give an authentic and honest review of any skincare whatsoever when you have got fillers and Botox? How do you even know what it's doing to your skin? How do you know? Because it's filled out and it's plumped out. So how do you know is what the product? I mean, all you can literally describe is the texture of it and whether it feels sticky afterwards or whether it's absorbed. It absorbs well. None of them. Nobody should be trusting absolutely none of them, right? For skincare. Anything to do with skincare. Because the skin isn't their real skin in the first place. So how can they give an honest opinion about what this product might be doing or should be doing or how it feels when their skin's fake? Literally, it's fake. Anyway, back to this. Rant over.
And lights and stuff in your face. It's not what you see. Is it's like it's reality, but it's not. It's not. Imagine someone following you around like this with the camera. I should grab my camera to show you. But imagine like you are acting different than you normally would act because there's a bloody camera in your face. Okay, so of course I didn't film it. I don't want to film everything because I just want to live it in real life and have it be like an actual real experience that I remember. You know, like back in the olden days where not everything was recorded. I just want it to be authentic and genuine and real. And so much of this job, in order to get big on.
And I would say to her, she still is authentic, genuine, and real. Okay, but parts of a job will require. I'm so sorry. Postman came for the second time, so it set Cleo off barking away. Anyway, I've half forgot what I was saying, so I'm just gonna have to play it. And
social media, you have to be very exposed. That's the only way I can say it. You have to be exposed, and you have to have people invest.
Oh yeah, so I do think, whereas where she's talking about not feeling authentic or things being fake, and she wants to be real, those aspects of it that I discussed earlier, where it is walking to the door to meet Rosemary, or it is the staging of walking down the red carpet, they're non-issues. Okay, they're non-issues. It's no different to models modeling a dress, or hairdressing models when they've had their hair done and they're showing you the hair. Like, there's no fakeness to that. It's just like, it's entertainment. It's entertaining to watch. Like when you see other people, it's always been a thing, people on the red carpet and whatnot, right? Those kinds of examples. It's the disingenuity of when they're giving you advice about skincare, or talking to you about, like how I gave the example with Manny MUA, coming out with the, oh well, I actually use 3 concealers. Well, you just told us in the Get Ready With Me that you used Urban Decay, so everyone that was rushing out to buy that because they really liked how it looked under your eyes and how it set, and you told them, like, you use it regularly, so that it's good, it's a good product, you then say that you'd actually used 3 and just didn't tell us. Those are the examples that I have an issue with, and I suspect other people would have an issue with those too. They're obvious. So I think for her, she needs to have clear boundaries. Work face and actually being fake, there's a massive difference. Putting on your work face and being disingenuous to your audience, absolutely 2 entirely different things and 2 totally different spectrums.
You and invest in your life, and you need people to want to be invested. And the only way they're going to get invested is if you share so much with them that they are basically your diary. They see your life in such a deep and intimate way. They see all of your experiences, and then they get attached to you. If you're just doing educational videos that are informative, like I do, they're not going to get invested in you, because there's nothing to get invested in. They might be invested in the information and find it interesting, but it's not going to be, the channel will never go to the size of, I'd say, Tati's channel, for example, where you become invested in her life and her stories and her family, and you know her husband, and it becomes like this whole thing. And for me, I just really struggle with making my channel that whole thing, because it doesn't come naturally to me, because I really don't feel like I belong in this world.
I so relate to that final statement. And I have so much more respect for Gabi for using her social standing, and for just somebody like her to use her voice and say all the things, because they seriously needed to be said. And with that, I'm going to close out the video. I really appreciate you watching, listening along. If you made it this far, leave me a like, maybe a comment, share some opinions, and subscribe if you already haven't done. And with that, bye for now, love lots, and see you soon.